So, look, I was just thinking about how it's cool how when people go through hard stuff and survive and come out on the other end being a wiser person, and like all the lessons they learn along the way to get to where they are today, hopefully, like as healthier, stronger, happier people, because like metamorphosis and growth and stuff, like probably is it's not super fucking enjoyable becoming a butterfly, like physically, like and psychologically, like maybe. Maybe it is a vibe the whole time. I just feel like when you've got a destination and you want to be getting there, there's like kind of like pressures, and like a part of that is kind of like it's cool to like plan and strategize and stuff, and like being honest is cool too. I just feel like where my mind drifts right now is like, what if you don't even give a fuck about the destination, bro? Like, in terms of like death, maybe death is the destination for all living beings, and like that's cool. And like what they say about the journey being like the whole shit, like it's not the destination. It's like the journey is the whole shit. Like you gotta enjoy the journey. It's like, yeah, bro. It's kind of like, why the fuck do you go to the movie? Like go to the movies, bro, just to fucking catch the last second of the movie. It's like you made the trip just so if I can catch the last second of the movie, bro. Like I don't even understand. So it's kind of like that. I feel like you wanna exist and you wanna enjoy existing and you wanna live and you wanna live enjoyably, like healthily, like optimally, and honestly, that's probably naturally. So I feel sort of like in this equation, it's like I just feel like I care about health and healthiness, and like as a healer, I want to be a great healer. Hopefully, I can be a healer. Hopefully, like all it takes is for me to identify as being a healer and to actually think I'm a healer, to actually heal, to heal myself, to heal others, to help others learn about things. So I'll keep you posted, in terms of what I learn, like helping others. So I feel like in terms of sharing is caring, it's just cool how like people want to share what they've learned in terms of like going through entire ordeals, and it's kind of like they want to help people who are in similar situations or who may have faced similar situations had they not come across the content being shared by those people. For example, like if I can help people to enjoy their lives more and to have happier lives, like happier, healthier lives because of what I can help them to learn, I feel like that may be a super positive thing. And it may be kind of like why wisdom, clarity, and honesty are all super important things, I feel like. And I think it's because this notion that I was kind of more formally intellectualized yesterday, I think it was, where I kind of like posited that like ignorance is fundamentally about self-deceit, and a part of that comes into health, like in terms of healthiness, like and disease. When you're being dishonest with yourself, you create bodily tension, and that's the root cause of like all kind of suffering, I feel like, because of the disease. It's basically the whole stream flowing downhill, and then like beavers starting to make a dam, and then the water like has to go elsewhere, or just build up, you know? So it's kind of like the natural pressures that be, you know, they have properties and, you know, like physically they exist too. So you can probably infer things about system dynamics in terms of the systems these things are a part of, and you can probably infer plus extrapolate about adjacent things or relevant things in that equation, like in that system or those types of systems, I feel like. So yeah, I feel like, say dishonesty is fundamentally the root cause of disease when it's self-deceit. Wisdom, honesty, and clarity allows you to perceive the pain in your brain, making you fucking insane. Hashtag lame. Because you want a game. Pretty birds. Instead of using your words to convey things of worth, and you think just because it hurts, you can spread a curse because you feel cursed, and that's like really lame. I feel like, because it's like, you know, misery and stuff, like misery loves company and that. So it's kind of like, it's just like a not happy thing to spread not happy vibes, yeah? Like, to be honest. I was thinking about it, like, in terms of, like, positivity and positive psychology. Something that helps me to understand, like, how things may go in a kind of auto hypnosis and positive psychology sense is like, you can look at maybe all form of self-talk being hypnotic in nature, and you can call that auto-suggestion. So technically that may be like a technical definition of auto-suggestion, like self-talk is hypnotic, and the hypnotic nature of self-talk, like regarding self-talk as being hypnotic, allows you to use the word auto-suggestion to reason about it, which is like basically like what modeling is. So you can model self-talk via hypnosis, I think. So it's kind of like, what helps me is like, you can think about your conscious workspace where you're operating from all the time when you're awake, when you're like online, when you're alive, you're like, you know, when you're not dreaming, when you're present. You can view that as being like a kind of holographic cube or something like that. And it's like a buffer. So all the thoughts you put into it, like, go add to that cube, and it kind of like is a constant flowing. So it's kind of like information is always flowing into the cube and out of the cube, and it can be poisoned, you know, like DNS cache poisoning, or like some toxic malicious cat, or just like a sad and depressed cat can poison you with infected emotions and like negative toxin, like psychotoxin type anxiety sparing, like endocrine hijacking malicious attacks, or even just like a nasty comment that has that effect. and it can fester. It really depends on the kind of like water or information flowing into the cube. And so it's kind of like, if you think about adding like food, like I don't know if this works, food coloring. I just feel like if you add like spring water, each a drop at a time, like each thought is a drop, and every time you drop spring water, that's cool. And every time you drop like a bit of like food coloring, I don't know, I guess, because dilution, you know, like if you add a little bit of food coloring at a time, that's hardly gonna change the properties of that whole cube in terms of the content of the informational content of the cube, let's say. So if you just be like a vigilant, diligent kind of gatekeeper for that cube, like you're being a bouncer. There's a fat party inside, and you're being a bouncer. Like everybody wants in the cube, bro, but like you're just being a bouncer, and it's like you're not positive, bro. Like, no, no. Oh, you're positive, like into the cube, like go on. It's all good. So I feel like there's like a simple kind of model in terms of like, like being accountable for your own positivity. Like when you're a sad sack of shit and you're abusing people, you know, you just because you're hurting doesn't mean like, what you're doing is a positive thing, like by hurting people like that, like spreading the pain that you feel inside. It's like, you know, you have to take accountability, and responsibility is important. And this is what I was saying before, like, you can be a sad sack of shit and you can be bringing others down around you. It's just like, are you doing that intentionally? You know? It's like, or are you being a malicious criminal, and are you targeting people just to poison their happiness or to taint their enjoyment of their own life experience? So it's like, you have to be responsible and show you are worthy of being a person in society. And like a part of that is taking accountability. And like safety in numbers, like strength in numbers type shit, like it takes a lot of different people to make the world go around type thing. So it's kind of like society and diversity, It's like you don't have to have all the answers as that miserable sack of shit hurting people. You just have to be like accountable enough and responsible enough to be like, hold on, like I can't just keep being avoidant. I have to actually like take action, you know? So it's kind of like, I just want to quickly finish what I was saying earlier. I feel like when you're dishonest with yourself, that creates tension, and that's what disease is. And a big part of that equation is avoidance, It's like, it makes me think of this Stoic article I briefly saw, like maybe the title of it, just on Substack, scrolling through it, about like being honest about your fears and like confronting them, and like not avoiding them, because that's kind of where the money's at, That's where the BPM is at. That's where, that's where you have to like, investigate as an analyst, providing you care to profit as a business person. I feel like, and I feel like by being honest, you eliminate that entirely. And I guess like just to like kind of like hammer the nail home, like work ethic is a big part of that. Like if you're like a keen gardener and you're keeping on top of gardening your neurological garden, your mind, in a hypnotherapy sense, not what a hypnotic sense. It's a hypnotist. you know, you're gonna be all good with doing some weeding like frequently. You're gonna enjoy the process. You're gonna like enjoy the journey, the act of weeding your garden, debugging your mind if you want to use a computer type analogy, computer science type analogy, you know, and you're gonna do so willingly. Plus, you're gonna have like the whole holistic, bigger picture in mind as well. I feel like, quite honestly. So, yeah, back to like the miserable take shit, like hurting people. Like, if you come to the conclusion that you have to take accountability and you have to be responsible for yourself, because it's not others' fault, that it's not the people you're hurting fault. It's not their fault that you are hurting, you know? So how does that make sense that you're hurting them? Like, how is that a good thing? That's like an automatic kind of like avoidant, hopped up endocrine system, like wanting to get away from the hot flame, that is like burning them. So they're wanting to put distance in between it, but their hot flame is is the source of pain, and that's in your brain. I think we know pain is like neurological as humans, like in terms of knowledge. That's kind of what I mean by that. Like we know that scientifically, apparently. So it's like by being honest, by using wisdom to make decisions, by perceiving things clearly, you can get stuck into what is like, you know, really bringing you grief, causing you grief. I don't know, it's kind of like the lion with the thorn in his side, like, just real fucking pissed off and irritable and just grumpy and annoyed and like, not who he used to be, you know? It's like, why is it? Because he's like, the source pain, you know, infecting his psychology, making him worse than a bully. So it's kind of like, yeah, like to even get to the point of understanding that you maybe need to take action. That's like already you are healing, already you are starting the process of healing. And so, like I was saying with society and diversity and stuff, like I'm a hypnotherapist, at least I'd like to be. I view myself as one. I think I use auto hypnosis heavily. I care about the subject. I honestly think I can help people in truly significant ways, meaningful ways, by helping them to enjoy auto hypnosis in the way I enjoy it, in a beneficial way, in a positive way, in a happy, healthy way. So I feel like, that's kind of what they say. It's what I've heard, it's what I reckon as well. Like, just taking that first step, of that marathon. Maybe it's not even a marathon, maybe it's just in your head a marathon, and then just like you take the first step and you end up healing like real quick and you're happy with the results, like if you reach out to a hypnotherapist because you honestly like have had enough of suffering and hurting others, like for example, and you have decided you want to take action to heal, and you contact somebody like me, you know, and then we have some successful hypnotherapy sessions, then you're like, as a person who was once in pain, like more about pain and psychology plus auto hypnosis and hypnotherapy, so you can better relate and you can better modulate and feel essentially with your body to better make decisions strategically as a business person. Fundamentally, I I feel like that'd be ill, and like you'll probably like prosper alongside everyone else, like in that equation. I feel like, to be honest, because of the nature of like abundance and wealth plus like luck. You know, it's like how lucky is it that we as human beings get to exist and think, plus relate, connect, share, reflect, enjoy IT, invent things, like enjoy things, you know, enjoy relationships, enjoy having relationships, enjoying being connected with others. You know, it's just, there's a lot to be grateful for. And I guess just to wrap this log up, like, gratitude is super vital and important. I feel like it helps secure the neurology in a person's mind, and it keeps your psychology, your neurology entrained to a happy baseline, to a high intensity, positive, like magnetic, electric, synchronistically, cosmically awesome baseline that's like a kind of brilliant, resonant frequency that is much like maybe light vibrational, literally light vibration. So it's just kind of like enjoy light vibration. It's immensely and immensely pleasurable plus positive. I feel like, to be honest. Anyways, I'll leave that log there. It ended up being like a 22-minute or so vlog, I guess. So that's kind of shit. Anyways, peace.